Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or to anybody new, hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to start a garden, or Gardening 101 for beginners. And in this video, we're going to talk about traditional gardening, aka picking out a plot of land, all the work that encompasses clearing out any and all weeds, preparing the land, tilling tilling the soil, prep, which includes pulling any and all weeds and incorporating any good compost, or if you're growing beans usually are good to go straight into almost whatever soil, especially out here in the Southwest. You can just stick beans in the ground, and as long as you kind of water them, they are good to grow. So also, for any and all newbie beginners, so if you're checking out this video, it's probably, oh my gosh, do you guys see that horrible wasp? Oh, I'm sorry guys, I had to go get my little fly swatter. Anyway, for any and all newbie beginners, or beginners, anyone who is fresh at starting a garden, I have my best recommendation, which is PG, or portable gardening, or container or bin gardening. So first of all, and then lastly, for any and all untraditional newbie beginners, but someone who is really wanting to consider compost gardening, what I love about compost gardening is you kill two birds with one stone. Oftentimes, if you eat salads, almost anything green from your kitchen that has no grease, dairy, meat associated, if you start a compost pile, you will not only get beautiful, rich soil, but oftentimes you will have the most wonderful things growing from your compost pile, especially if you cold compost. If you hot compost, oftentimes you'll just end up with beautiful, lush, rich soil. But cold composting, oftentimes you can have a cold compost garden associated with your garden. So let's start off and talk about traditional gardening. And the first thing you need to consider is a plot of land. After you have picked your location, you need to consider space as well. If you're growing something like beans, squash, melon, you need a ton of space, you need a ton of sun. So you need to consider what you'll be growing, what requirements those are, and like I said, you'll need to prepare your land by turning the soil, pulling any and all weeds, and oh my goodness, sorry, that wasp came back. So let's move on to one of my favorite, which is container gardening. Sorry, we're going to jump back to traditional gardening. So again, we will need to prepare the land, pull any and all weeds, till the soil, which includes essentially till and turn your soil. And depending on what you're growing, you may need to add or incorporate good compost soil, and you will need to plant your seeds, or you will need to plant your plants that are pre-purchased and already growing. So there are some pros and cons to purchasing your plants already growing. In my opinion, if you're really on a budget, that is not a very budget-friendly way to go. Oftentimes, a packet of seeds will cost you anywhere from 99 cents to $2, where purchasing your plants will cost you anywhere from like $3 to $4 per plant. So just keep that in mind. If budget is an issue, I would recommend purchasing seeds. And lastly, of course, with traditional gardening is the care as required, as needed for your plants, watering, nutrients, etc. But let's talk about my favorite and what I highly recommend for any newbie gardeners: PG, or portable gardening, or container, small, medium, large, or bin gardening. So this little container in particular incorporates two of my favorite types of gardening, which are compost gardening and PG, portable gardening, or small container or container gardening. So this is my bin of bell pepper seeds. My boyfriend and I had fajitas one night, and like usual, any and all greens from the kitchen. Instead of throwing them away, I compost, and instead of composting everything directly into the big compost pile out back, which I'll show you, I gathered up just the seeds, put them into this small container, and voila, I had an abundance of bell pepper seedlings that were both composted and now growing in one of my favorite ways to garden, which is small container gardening, which requires only the following: purchasing your containers, small, medium, large, or your large bins. But these are dollar containers from the Dollar Tree. They are very, I think, size friendly. I can literally pick them up and move them from one location to the other. If you purchase larger bins, consider they might be harder to move. So with small container or portable gardening, all you need to do is purchase your containers, add your soil as needed for the plants you'll be growing, and plant your seeds or your already growing plants, and then just care for them as needed. So this is the recommendation I have for any and all newbie gardeners. It essentially is as easy as purchasing your container, buying your seeds, growing them, caring for them as the directions call for, and if a location isn't so good for your plants, you can simply pick them up and move them. And if you live in a small apartment and you have a little balcony, small container gardening is so ideal. It literally, even if you move, you can literally take your garden, pack up, and take it with you. It's so genius. And then lastly, you guys, we have something I call compost gardening. So compost gardening is anything from picking a plot of land, and you could cold or hot compost. I like to cold compost garden, which is I'll show you. So again, this incorporates compost gardening in two of my favorite ways of gardening: small container or PG, portable gardening, and composting the pepper seeds, and that's how I have all of these peppers. But if you want to just compost garden, let me show you my compost garden. Oh my gosh, you guys, sorry, I'm so cheesy. And okay, so out here we have what I thought was a perfect location for compost gardening. So as you can see, we have two plots. This plot over here used to be full of onions, potatoes, and a few peppers, but in the last few days the weather got remarkably unstable, and everything on this little compost pile died. I wasn't able to water. However, everything over here in my other compost pile is doing remarkably well, except this is a really shady location, and as you can see, my melon and or cantaloupe is not doing too good because of all of the shade. If it were in that sunnier location, I think these would be doing a lot, they'd be doing better. So first of all, this is my cantaloupe or watermelon compost pile, and I literally chopped up my cantaloupe and or watermelon and composted, and this is the result. So if you cold compost, you will not only have a mound of beautiful soil underneath, but you may also enjoy onion, potatoes, peppers, melon growing out of your compost pile, which was the case about a couple of weeks ago, but I hadn't watered in a week or two, and this is the result. However, cold composting is what I call you kill two birds with one stone. Regardless, there is still some good soil deep up in there, but I much prefer my cold compost with a full-blown garden, attached. But sometimes that's not always the case. But if you're really interested in being self-sufficient, limiting your waste, incorporating, like if you have a good salad, apple, anything where you're going to go throw away a good bit of green anything, as long as there's no grease, dairy associated with that, you can cold compost your tea, coffee grounds, tea grounds, any pepper bits from fajitas. But again, no grease, no meat, no dairy. If you have a salad, all of those scraps you're going to throw away, come bury them. Oh, bury everything deep. You can't just throw things in a pile on top of the earth. You have to dig down, bury it deep, and you have to remember to water. I faltered on watering, and now I have just my cold compost pile. So that is everything, you guys. Gardening 3 ways for beginners. I hope you guys like this video. Sorry I'm a little bit awkward at times, but I'm still getting the hang of all of this. But I really needed a video like this to, I don't know, just share with me some ideas on how to garden, how to get started. And so I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, share, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you want, ring that bell, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!